Now, you must also talk with your children. Talk to them about their internet use. Talk to them about regulating the use of the internet. Show them the harm. Help them to understand the danger that is out there. That's very, very important for you to have wholesome conversation with your young people and let them know that, listen, it's an evil age in which we're living and their safety is important. Let them understand that. Explore sites recently visited. That's also important.
Much like if you had suspicions that your child was involved in any activity that was illegal or that was problematic, you'd want to find out. So sometimes you need to just randomly go on your child's computer or go on the computer that your child uses. And when we say child, we're talking about child and we're talking about young adults. As long as they live in your home and you're responsible for them. Because a lot of the problems that many young people get into, whether it is drugs or alcohol or sex or some of these things, begins right there on the computer. And they have access to these chat rooms and these web pages. So yes, you want to explore these sites that they're looking at and make sure that what you expect is what is happening.
And sometimes you may want to relocate the computer. If you have a child that is trusted, great. If you have a child that is giving you problems, sometimes you might have to take the computer out of the room. Parenting is tough. Parenting is tough, and love is tough. And look at how God relates to us. God loves us, okay? Which of you inside here will God save with your sin? Which of you inside here God will take to heaven with your sin? Come on, tell me which of you. And can you love more than God? And God loves us, but in order to make it to heaven, he says, no matter how I love you, even though I die on Calvary's cross for you, you have to get rid of the sin. That's called tough love. The same thing with us as parents. We have to love our children as God loves us. We have to love them, but you don't spoil them. You have to have tough love. So if the thing is not right, your duty as a parent is to correct. That's your job.
There must be limited time for computer use. One of the challenges that many parents are having is that your child could be on the computer for hours and they claim they're doing homework. Now, if the child is bringing home all A's, that might be impressive. But the fact is, don't think that every time your child says you're spending these long hours, it is that they're doing homework. You might be surprised. Many of them are engaged in a lot of computer games that are available online that actually can be harmful. I had a case of a 13-year-old boy who was an all-A student, doing very well, and his parents had very little problems with him, so they just allowed him. But then they noticed that his attitude started to change, and his mood started to change. And then the father got really concerned, and he didn't know what to do, and so he brought him in for counseling. And when I interviewed the child, do you know what he told me? He told me he was depressed. He was suicidal. He didn't want to live. And I thought, what could be wrong? How could this be? And when we got to the bottom of the story, he was engaged in a computer game that was some kind of killing demons or killing whatever they were killing on this thing. And apparently he was one of the characters and he got killed. And apparently this was the worst thing that could have happened. And so he thought if he was killed in cyberspace, then he didn't deserve to be alive because he was now like a weakling or whatever he perceived. And he's 13 years old. His mind is immature and he really doesn't understand the implication. And so this child became suicidal. So think about how dangerous those things are. And you never imagine that just a game, it sounds like only a game, but a lot of young people are involved in these things that creates a lot of other kinds of side effects.
Above all, trust God to give you the wisdom. Trust God to give you the guidance. Because when everything is said and done, we always have to put our hands in the hand of God. To bring children up in this day and age without God's help is impossible. We have to have His help.
So don't be intimidated by technology. Don't be intimidated by cyberspace and all the trafficking that goes on. Just be aware. Be knowledgeable, educate yourselves, and make sure that you are putting the guidelines that your child need at home or at school to protect them.
You know, there are reasons why children misbehave. And we're going to talk to you about 4 of them. But before we go into them, we want you to look at a clip that we have bought for you. At this time, we need the lights to go down. We're not going to be taping the clip, so we need the lights to go down so you can see the clip better.